second race of our showcase for this evening. And we got a Bubble Man, we got a large assortment of Robot Masters in which one is going to be reset.
Yeah, not a big surprise on that one. Oh no, I think Siberian Bolt, yeah, that's reset number, that's strike 2. Found both of the early whammies in Heatman and Crashman, 2 stages that you really don't want to start with.
So yeah, about resetting, because resetting is going to be a thing, at least in the initial part of this particular rule set. You can be allowed to reset early if a stage at the very first Robot Masters you get in the very beginning are ones that you do not feel comfortable with starting. However, the first Robot Master you beat, you're locked out of resetting. So you're going to have to commit as soon as you beat your first Robot Master. So actually with Siberian Bull finding the 2 whammies already, he probably already knows which way to go. Well, more like which ways to avoid for the rest of the season.
Any way but the ones he did to find Heatman and Crashman. I believe... Now, I'm not sure of the rule explicitly, because I have not read the rule book, as it were. I would think you could reset. However, you would have to start over, and that would be inconvenient for having finished a stage or 2 already, because you would have to go back and finish those stages over again. Don't quote me on this, and I reserve the right to be completely and entirely wrong.
That's curious.
Now, I do not know the official rule. However, I'm just putting it out there as a potential option for somebody who may accidentally get a Heatman, and I think you would just take the game over at that point, 2 or 3 stages in, instead of resetting the game. But you never know. You kind of get flustered and accidentally rage reset, and next thing you go, uh-oh, that's a little bit of a problem.
Trying to do some behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Oh, gee, I completely forgot to reset my IRC client. Ay.
Taking a question in chat, technically you could, but at some point you're still gonna have to go through the stage anyway, in order to go through each and every stage, because this is particularly randomized. You don't know what you're going to get, and if you're just going to keep resetting to learn the stage order, all you're going to do is just continuously waste time learning which stage is what, and you might be at a disadvantage at that point. You may know what stages are which, but you won't necessarily know what's actually in these stages, because all of these enemies are randomized. So you can learn a particular place where they are, but it doesn't necessarily give you an advantage. It could be a time waste, just trying to think ahead, only to find out thinking ahead is just going to set you back. It's kind of a complicated affair in that point, but there is nothing in the rules that says so.
Now, you could actually try that strategy to kind of unblind yourself, but it will put you probably about 30 seconds behind.
It's kind of a coin flip in that regard, as we see Bob dealing with a very rough Crashman fight, a very low jumper, very hard to avoid. So he winds up taking a death on that particular fight. We're going to see how he does on the rematch, as Mega Cow finds Crashman very early, but it looks like we got a pretty decent enemy set with the
lightning wards.
So this could work, but it seems like we also got another issue in this screen here.
Oh no, the tin cans.
Oh, he has flash. Very fortunate. using the time stopper to get through the area and not have to worry about being blocked by the ladders by one of those enemies. That's actually a surprisingly rough situation that 2 more runners are about to do.
No. And these runners probably not equipped with the time stopper, so it'll be interesting to see how Squidman and Bob the Builder tackle this particular area. Squidman's just YOLOing his way through and taking this significant damage. Oh, and getting bodied by a tin can at the top of this next screen. So we'll see if Squidman changes his tactic, but Bob the Builder seems to be through with his HP intact. It looks like Metal Blade, the solution that he's come up with. Squidman, uh-oh. This might be a reset coming in for Squidman, in that he's just going to get bodied and choose to take on a new stage. And it looks like exactly what's going to happen. Squidman just going to take the damage, take the game over, and get out.
So we got Mega Cow, fortunately with his flash stopper solution, time stopper solution, continuing his climb on Crash, while Bob, fortunately with his Metal Blade solution, going through his ascent through Crash. Squid finding Heat Man, where it's basically a seafood delight with lots of shrimps and crabs along the way.
Ugh.
These crabs can be a little annoying, not necessarily here, but in the upcoming screen where there's going to be single block rooms over pets. Well,
oh no!
See, Squid, we hadn't even got to that point yet and you died. What's the deal, man?
Ay. Squidman might be a little rattled after finding both of the whammies here and taking them on. Crashman was not exactly fruitful for Squidman, although it looks like Mega Kyle about to reach the boss door, and Bob the Builder not too far behind. Squidman able to get through the chasm. But these lobsters are quite resilient, not falling to a couple simple buster shots.
Focusing on Siberian Bull 9, he finishes Woodman stage, taking out Heat Man and getting himself a Royal Master down. He got 3 on his belt right now as he begins going through Metal Man, which didn't seem all that tough on seeing it. Mega Cow getting his 3rd Robot Master. And I think this is the 2nd time I saw Item 1 being in Crash stage. This has been a very unkind sea for Item 1 finders.
Yeah, this is a little rough. Especially, well, it's not as bad. Normally you'd like to see Item 1 so you can use the zip, but this is a Zipless tournament and a Zipless showcase race for that tournament. So the Item 1 maybe not as important as a vanilla seed in the randomizer, where you would normally zip through sections of the game.
By the way, we just found ourselves a tracker. Shoutouts to 2% Chungus for volunteering his time and effort to try to catch up all the tracking that's going on beforehand. Hopefully we can get ourselves set up and tracking accordingly, but for right now, we got Squidman finishing Heatman stage. Didn't quite get to see the Robot Master trying to keep up with all of the action that's going on. We'll probably find out on Mega Cow's end. But meanwhile, we're finding an interesting Airman stage where Bob takes quite a bit of a dip.
Alright, so we know Mega Kyle has Item 1. Squidman has Item 3. Bob the Builder, I believe, also Item 1.
And Woodman has the Forest of Joes yet again.
And I just saw Siberian Bull's inventory for enough time to realize it was open, but not able to see what he had. So it looks like Siberian Bull in the lead with 4 Robot Masters down at this point. and headed into Bubble Man.
Excuse me if I take care of some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to sort out the trackers, so we've got Bob the Builder in Airman, we've got Squidman in Woodman, Siberian Bull in Bubble Man, and Mega Kyle up against Airman at the end of the Heatman stage. So Mega Kyle now onto his 5th stage, joining Siberian Bull. Although Mega Kyle getting Flashman this time around. So this should be a fairly quick stage. Quickman, all not included. Now, if I had my pun game on point, I would say that this stage would be done in a flash, but, you know, even the commentators got to de-rust a little bit here. So it looks like Squidman making his way to the boss door. So we'll see what's behind door number 1, and it's Heatman. Bob the Builder getting to the end of the Airman stage, and we will find Woodman. Siberian Bull in the last section of the Bubble Man stage, so just a couple more platforms to go, and he should be at the boss door as well.
Alright, jumping back in, looks like we got both of our bosses beating on both Squid and Bob's end. So we got 4 on Bob's finish. Didn't catch how many was done on Squid's end. But look like we got Metal Man in Bubble Man's room. Bosses in Bubble Man's room are pretty interesting, simply because each and every boss in that room is also going to be subject to water physics. So as you can see, you can actually manipulate Metal Man to just continuously jump and not fire a Metal Blade at all. So Metal Man in Bubble Room is actually pretty beneficial, assuming you can his AI is as such that it can be manipulated in that fashion.
And so Siberian Bull onto his 6th stage. Mega Kyle finishing his 5th stage. So 3 remain for both Siberian Bull and Mega Kyle. Bob the Builder and Squidman slightly behind the leaders at this point, although I want to confirm where exactly Squidman is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's on what looks to be his 5th stage.
So once again, we got our 4 runners diverging. Once again, we got to remind you that this is a Zipless set, focusing on Mega Cow on Bubble Man stage. Normally, you will probably see a zip here, a very notable and long zip in this particular stage, where you normally would ignore this entire stretch of screens before hitting a specific point. Due to the fact that we are on a Zipless category, you see, and I'm pretty sure you saw other runners do as well, you're gonna have to go through all this nonsense. So you potentially got to deal with crabs, these tellies. In some cases, you can see Joes, the Metroid enemies that are usually native to this stage. This stage is actually could be very annoying and very rough to traverse because the enemy clusters can be so infuriating.
Troublesome. Yeah. Alright, it looks like Bob the Builder up against Quickman, and actually using the Time Stopper on Quickman. So, interesting strategy. So Bob the Builder gonna do some work with the Time Stopper, even the playing field, although, oh yeah, he's gonna have to use that energy tank all the same. So Quickman getting a small victory over Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder winning the war at the end, gonna take down Quickman.
We find that item 2 was actually in Flashman's stage. So, and Siberian Bull heading straight there, so he's gonna have a little bit of a easier time going through this stage. Of course, we find item 3 in Quickman stage. Both of them actually having vanilla bosses in their rooms. And what makes it a little bit weirder was that, okay, so the Time Stopper in the randomizer, the Time Stopper is only weak to one particular Robot Master. In this seed, since Bob found it, we also find that the Time Stopper is the weakness for the vanilla boss.
Yeah, usually the Time Stopper is not a item that the randomizer logic considers a boss to be possibly weak to. I'm not sure if that applies to the Robot Masters as well, but it definitely applies to the Wily machine bosses, or excuse me, the Wily stage bosses.
No, the weapon logic always has the Time Stopper being weak to one and only one Robot Master.
That's a nice discovery on Siberian Bull's side. Finding the air shooter as the weapon that dismantles the crash wall.
So little like we got Siberian Bull having a little bit of pre-knowledge beforehand, so he doesn't have to do any digging for the boobies, and if he so chooses, gets a little bit of an energy tank in Wily 2, doesn't have to do any unnecessary searching for that particular point. Squidman using item 2 to bypass a majority of Airman stage, which seems to be relatively tame, but having item 2 just to speedily zip across the areas of Airman stage is always a plus.
Well, it is a speed run at the end of the day, and you want to go fast, so if item 2 gets you going faster, all the power to using it as opposed to leaving it, on the sideline, not using it. And it looks like Heatman's boss is Airman, as we saw earlier on, so that will net Siberian Bull his final stage, which is Crashman. Mega Kyle hot on his heels, but in the Woodman stage for his final stage.
So yeah, to note, since it was brought up in the chat, the Mega Man 2 randomizer is still taking entrance up until a day before the actual tournament starts. So if you feel like you just want to get in just for the sake of getting in, we do not take skill level into account. All skill levels are welcome. We just wanted to have a little fun with this tournament. So if you feel like you want to just see what you got for these kinds of tournament races, feel free to join up. We take any and all comers, as we see Squidman taking his second shot into Crashman stage, hopefully having a little bit more in his arsenal to get by the area quickly.
Well, we see an immediate use of item 2, and it looks like that item 2 allowing him to get past the first set of tin cans. Not as effective the second time around. I think he accidentally used an item 2 there. But we should see another use of item 2. There it is. Jump his way from the platform and ignoring the Lightning Lord. So good use of item 2 on Squidman's side of things to get himself to the ladder as quickly as possible. So almost trivializing the 3 elevator stages. Or excuse me, the elevator screens.
So we got Siberian Bull and Squidman going to the same stage. Siberian Bull 9 just a little bit ahead of Squidman as far as the stage goes. He's already on the main final crash climb as he is on his way to his room in the crash boss. While we got Bob going through heat, we got Mega Cow going through wood. Mega Cow just on his way to the boss wood corridor. So we're gonna see how he's about to handle. I believe it was Heatman that was in the the wood boss room.
With the randomizer and the 2 seeds, I don't want to seed confusion myself and get it backward, and it is Heatman. And we will see Bubbleman at the end of the Crashman stage.
Opting to use the Metal Blaze is not necessarily a weakness, but it was still susceptible to it, and the fact that it was still multi-range still makes it a pretty good option for Bubbleman, as Siberian Bull is our first to get to the Wily stages.
Yeah, so 19 minutes, 50 seconds, and we are on our way into Wily 1. Which means we get to play a little game. Since you announced it the first time around, I will announce it this time. Since this is the randomizer, a lot of the things in this game are randomized, as we see Mega Kyle and Squidman almost in complete sync, maybe a second apart from each other, joining Siberian Bull 9 in the Wily 1 stage. But one of the things particularly that are randomized is the bosses and their colors. So what we like to do for the Wily 1 stage is guess the color of the dragon. And since we want to throw in a little bonus, guess the weakness of the dragon as well.
So I guess that puts it on me to be the first one to make a choice on this one. So
Correct.
I'm gonna do a tradition of mine because I want a monochrome dragon, and if you're gonna be specific on what monochrome colors, I want mostly grays, blacks, and or whites. And as for weakness, let's see if we can get some bubbles this time around.
Oh, gonna steal away my bubble lead. Oh, how dare you. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, so since green came through last time, I'm going to go purple for the dragon. I'm going to say... Oh, what's a real ugly one? Let's go air shooter. So, in the first time around, I got the color correct, and Creed got the weapon correct. So let's see if we can flip things around and... So I'm kind of rooting for that monochrome dragon, so you get the color right.
We got Bob the Builder going through his final stage, so he's going to be our last of our restreamers to eventually get to the Wily stages after he beats Bubble Man, as we got a mostly blue dragon with some green compliments.
Alright, so, doesn't look to be the Crash Bomb. No Metal Blade. No Buster. No Buster this time around as well. Ooh, what a gift.
So it look like the 50-50 is in favor of the dragon in this case. So all of these guys should be pretty happy that Buster is going to be one of the weaknesses for this one. Squidman finding it immediately. Look like Mega Kyle's going to do a little bit of digging before he finds the tree.
Yeah, Mega Kyle... Oh, sorry to cut you off there, but Mega Kyle did look for a couple weapons the first time around, being the only runner that we saw out of this group in the first race.
Yeah, the only minor thing I was going to say is that even if Buster wasn't going to work, there were also two other weaknesses that were available. Reminder, Buster is just a potential weakness. You're not guaranteed Buster for any other Wily bosses, but there is always about a couple of actual weapon weaknesses in order to beat any other Wily bosses, except for Time Stopper. Time Stopper will never be a weakness for any other Wily boss.
I believe the dragon has two. You correct me if I'm wrong on any of these. Pico has two. The Boo Beam turrets have one each for the turret itself and the crash walls. And the crash walls we know are the air shooter, which it looks like Mega Kyle will find out soon enough once he cycles through his weapons. He wants that E-Tank at the other side. And there we go, Mega Kyle learning that's air shooter.
Okay, so to clarify about the boss weaknesses, the dragon has actually two weapon weaknesses. The Pico units, which Siberian Bull is about to fight, as they have three weapon weaknesses. The Gus Tank has two. The Boo Beam units have one. The Wily Machine actually have four, which can change between phases. And the Alien has one.
Oh no, Siberian Bull took a death. So Squidman inheriting the lead here, being the only one in the Pico fight. So if Squidman can get through this fight, and it looks like he should have minimal problems, the Quick Boomerang able to take down the Pico blocks. Bob the Builder unfortunately taking a game over in the Bubble Man stage.
So we got Mega Cow next up to take on the Pico units. Starting with Metal Blades is not going to be it this time. Actually, everything in the second page is pretty much off the table. He gonna decide to use quick boomerangs as well. There could potentially be a better weakness, but as far as weapon consumption goes, with the high ammo that the quick boomerangs usually have, quick boomerangs is not that bad of a choice to use.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to aim the quick boomerang. It has a good range to it, and as you say, he's about halfway through the fight and only used maybe an eighth of his overall weapon energy with all of these quick boomerangs that he's been firing.
It also goes to know that, remember, one of the things that are randomized is actually ammo consumption. So the fact that you're not draining so much ammo in here pretty quickly shows that you actually got a pretty good number of quick boomerangs to use. So as far as weakness comparison to ammo consumption, that's a pretty good combination for fighting the Pico units. As we see Squidman going to the Guts tank fight, we're going to see what weakness we're going to have in this particular fight. Could it be Buster again? Oh, you bet it is.
Wow. And that is just a gift from the randomizer gods, if you want to call it anything. No need to look for what item to use, what weapon to use. Just, hey, you got the... Ooh, Siberian Bull actually finding the leaf shield. And it looks like a one-shot leaf shield, so this is going to be pretty safe for Siberian Bull to just let the Pico blocks run into him and bounce off of the shield here.
Easily the god weakness of this fight. If you can get a one-shot leaf shield in that fight, you're pretty much straight. It's not necessarily the fastest at sometimes, but it's definitely the safest one, the most consistent. You're probably gonna have to do some dodging, as some of the Pico units will have to be placed in an area where you got to move out of the way. But if you get leaf shield for Pico, you're set, as long as it one-shots, that is.
Yeah, that is definitely a very positive weakness to have. And we see Squidman actually having a little bit of trouble in the elevator stages here. I don't know if it's going to cause him too much trouble, but taking the hits, you know, draining down a little bit of energy might cost him later on in the stage. But not much to really go off of, although he will be able to just drop down and boost off of... Oh, he's just going to curveball his way, not even going for the damage boost. Beautiful by Squidman.
Yeah, I think that was a better option. Remember, even though this is a Zipless tournament, this is not exactly a glitchless tournament. So pause buffering is on the table, and it was very smart for Squidman to pause buffer his way around that area, as opposed to taking some unnecessary damage on his way to the Boo Beam fight, where hopefully we're going to get a very, very nice weakness. Potentially.
Well, the only thing that I think might work out of Squidman's favor is if the Metal Blade or Leaf Shield doesn't work, he's going to have to hunt a little bit to find the weaknesses. Oh, and it actually looks like the Metal Blade is going to be effective on the turrets itself.
So we got ourselves a couple of god weaknesses in this entire stretch. A couple of Buster weak bosses. Leaf Shield was a weakness for Pico. Metal Blade was a weakness for Boo Beam. This was a pretty set weakness for the Wily boss.
Oh, and Siberian Bull kind of playing a little game of Russian roulette, just kind of jumping across and hoping he doesn't fall into the spikes. Ay, ay, ay. But,
well, I want to call it a Russian roulette. Actually, there are some safe points where you can actually jump in between. Prodigy, who is another pretty known Mega Man 2 randomizer runner as well, has noted these safe spots that you can jump in between, so you can actually safely jump across the area and not worry about which randomized floor is fake. So I believe it was a calculated risk on Siberian Bull's end to make those jumps.
Oh, now see, I did not know that, so I learned something today. And hopefully anyone who's looking to run this might be able to learn from that as well, as Bob the Builder, making his way to the dragon, Squidman into his refights, and it looks like Mega Kyle actually losing a little bit of time because of the information that he learned earlier on, using the air shooter to bust down the walls, and unfortunately learning that he doesn't really need to do that. Oh no, but he's out of weapon energy. Oh, that's so brutal. So he has to kiss the Boo Beam turret and take a death, unfortunately. And now kind of hope that he can get a weapon energy drop to show up.
Meanwhile, Squidman is just doing what he does best, is just powering through these Robot Masters. After Flashman, he should have one more left after this. So we're going to find out in a little bit if the Wily machine is either going to be weak to the Buster, or you're going to have to dig for some weapons along the way.
Well, we will see. Squidman, as you said, just about ready to finish up the refights. Siberian Bull taking down his first victim, as it were. And here we go.
Alright, so are we... Yeah, of course it... Why would we expect anything else?
Well, I mean, just about every other boss has been about as free as possible in this seed, so
Yeah,
why not
But you would kind of at least hope that the Wily machine would show up, but it does the same thing and doesn't show up at all.
I think so far with the 2020 tournament rules, every time I've done commentary on a seed, that Wily machine has been Buster weak. And Squidman into Victory Road, going to the right, so looking to put this one away, confident that he either has the victory in hand, or if he happens to falter, he can go back to the left and pick up the item energy.
Alright, so Squidman facing the alien. The alien is only weak to one weapon. What's it gonna be? I'm about to say, heaven help us if it's Buster again.
Ooh, alright.
It was just as free. It winds up being Metal Blade. And naturally, Squidman being the first of our Restream racers is also the first of the group that's in SRL with a physical time of 33 minutes.
Yeah, well done, Squidman. So our first place runner out of this second heat, as it were. So now it's going to be a race between Siberian Bull and Mega Kyle, which I believe Siberian Bull is on his 7th Robot Master. Mega Kyle might be a little behind that, and he's going to use an E-Tank almost certainly here. With floaty Metal Man, although it looks like just using it to set up a safety strat. So Siberian Bull with about 3 Robot Master advantage going into the Wily machine. Bob the Builder finding the easy stage, easy life leaf shield, so that will finish off the Pico blocks.
Siberian Bull handily taking out the machine with the easy mode weakness that was just available as per the usual. So he's on his way to Victory Road as well, and going to be taking on the alien, where we got ourselves practically another easy mode weakness in Metal Blade.
Yeah, I think the only issue here is going to be how long it takes Siberian Bull to find it.
He's already on it. He's already set.
Well, somebody must have tipped them off then. We'll have to look into that. Oh boy. So, Siberian Bull.
Probably the only thing that could be of concern is ammo count. Like I said, we got randomized ammo counts, and you actually firing one metal blade per 1 unit of energy. So you actually get 28 shots for a metal blade this seed. But I don't expect Siberian Bull to miss.
Getting more than one shot. But that was easy mode for Siberian Bull. Looked like it used about half his energy, so about 3 shots for 2 energy, it looked like, maybe. But that'll do it for Siberian Bull, the second of our restreamed runners to finish. I do not know where he finished overall, unfortunately, as IRC does not want to cooperate with me.
He actually finished second place as well in the IRC, so our restream runners that already finished are already 1 and 2 in the entire race, so that's that.
Well, good on them for that. You know, showing us exactly how, you know, this is meant to be done. You know, anybody that happens to be in chat going, you know what, I should try this out. You could use these runs as a good lesson of sorts to maybe study what Squidman and Siberian Bull did compared to what you might do into your first couple seeds and start to learn from that. There are newer runners that are entered into the tournament, so having a couple extra newer runners won't exactly hurt things, and Mega Kyle very quickly finishing off the Alien, and it looks like a little over a minute and a half or thereabouts behind Siberian Bull.
Yeah, he was third of our restream racers, but he actually came in 4th. Casual Tom actually beat out Mega Kyle in the IRC, so Mega Kyle comes in 4th place this time around.
Remember to E-Tank, folks.
Looks like we got a little bit of a guess. How you doing, Siberian?
I am so mad right now. I should have E-Tank. Before you going into that Pico pit, I was like, I should E-Tank. I should do it right now. And I was trying to stretch it out, hoping to see if metal or crash worked on it, and the crash bomb explosion went too long.
Ooh. Alright, it looks like Squidman is in as well, so looks like we gonna get a couple interviews in of our runners. So what'd you guys think of the seed in general?
Almost a repeat of last seed with Woodman stage.
Oh gosh, Woodman. What is with all the Sniper Joes?
My favorite part is the fact that I walked into that stage with a weapon that could destroy the mechs.
Oh jeez.
Seed, I had Crash Bomb ready, and the second seed, I used air to get through. But even then, my energy was taxed to the limit, so I barely survived.
I did not like Crash Stage picking that second, I think. So I took an intentional game over. I was lucky.
Crash has not been kind for both these seeds, apparently, with the Chanky Makers in the first seed, and even the blockies that were blocking the ladder in the second screen of Crash. Those were not some kind spawns on these particular seeds.
Yeah,
I will say this seed. I found Heat and Crash first, so that definitely helped me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, jeez. I found so I took an intentional death on Crash Stage. Thankfully, there were blockies on the second screen, and they do a ton of damage to you. So I just was able to just kill myself and get it over with, and then immediately went to Heat Stage. I was not exactly happy, but we got through that, and then left Crash for last after I actually got items. Doing the elevator rooms without items is just painful.
I did have item 2, so I was able to use it as a platform to get to the ladders, so that helped.
Now if I would have had item 2 going into Crash, I wouldn't have taken that intentional game over. I would have just continued on.
Yeah, both seeds actually had item 1 in Crash. That's the annoying part, too.
Ha!
All right. So for
Oh,
Well, what happened, Siberian? You were neck and neck with me in the IRC, and then something went wrong.
I'll tell you what happened. I went to Pico, and I was low in health, and I had the E-tanks ready, but I wanted to see if I could stretch out to see if I could find metal or Crash's weakness. The Crash Bomb went too long before I get my paws in.
Oh no! Oh yeah, in Mega Man 2, you can't pause when there's a weapon on the screen.
No. And then I ran out of item 3 at the wall, so I had to farm a bit for that.
Oh jeez.
no.
I had a similar situation. I just took a bunch of damage boosts going up to the wall to climb item 3 climb in Pico, but I took an E-tank before. I took an E-tank mid-stage, which is usually not what I would do.
That hallway in Wily 2 was a bit of a nightmare too.
Exactly, the hallway was really bad. Yeah, this is a piece of advice to everybody who's playing this is definitely have some spare E-tanks and don't be afraid to use them because it's worse to have to start from the midpoint of one of these Wily stages than it is to just E-tank and get a couple more in the later stages. There's always some more E-tanks to get in Wily 3 and Wily 4. Just go ahead and use them.
Yeah, we were talking about the E-tank situation because on the first seed, Arakve, who was showcased, had quite a bit of trouble in the Pico fight, and I saw at the last moment he did have some E-tanks along the way. So it's just something that you kind of have a feel for when you play these randomizers. E-tanks are your friends. Please do not neglect your friends.
I will say that I would save.
Tell me.
I will say that I'll generally on easy. I'll generally save one E-tank for the refights just in case because it is faster to E-tank in the refights than it is to pick up the refills. But I will happily use my other E-tanks in the other stages just so I won't have to start over at a midway checkpoint. Normal mode is a different situation. In normal mode, I always like to be stocked fully on E-tanks because the refights are actually a nightmare in normal mode. With basically trying to have to find weaknesses. Otherwise, you might just die trying to buster something down.
Keeping tabs on some of the other runners that are behind the scenes that are still racing as well. We got Treble Star and Iraq Vet both finishing in 5th and 6th place, respectively. So we still got some completed runs, finishers. Good job to Treble Star and Iraq Vet. And here we got Bob that's widely using the E-tank like we discussed. And hopefully should be on his way to finishing off the Wily machine.
Bob is experienced. He knows the value of the E-tanks.
Yeah, very true. I think this seed was a little rough in spots, and Bob, unfortunately, just kind of catching a bad one here or there, and it cost him a bit of time. But he is into Victory Road, as I so like to refer to it. So we'll see how quickly Metal Blade comes up as the weakness for the alien.
Speaking of which, Siberian Bull, answer me this. How in the world did you guess that? Why did you select Metal Blade immediately when you got into Wily 6?
Because I was already in page 2, and that's generally my thing.
We just got to get that off of the air. There could be some suspicious folk around just kind of thinking, getting conspiracy theories in their heads.
I also did a page 2 gamut, but I did do Crash first.
Nope. I went page 2 and picked Metal. That's all I can say. I usually page 2 gamut anyway, so it's nothing new to me.
I just find it easy to shoot the projectiles that go pretty fast. Early on.
Yeah, it's more like a thing. It's like it's 2 weapons. If it's neither of them, then I got a whole full page to go.
Yeah, the thing about the first page weapons is when you're fighting the alien is, the weapon behaviors are all randomized as well, and so.
With Crash and Metal, you got straight lines.
Exactly, pretty much exactly right. You don't know how like Bubble's gonna behave. You don't know how Wood's gonna behave. You don't know how Heat is gonna be heat could be supercharged. You don't know. And it's just frustrating to have to try those and waste time on weapons that just take a long time to use. So I always like to just get out of crash and metal out of the way first, because exactly like what Siberian said, it's a straight line. You shoot a crash bomb right into him, it works. It doesn't matter. You switch to metal, shoot a metal straight into alien. If it works, it doesn't. Okay.
And the thing with those is you can do both of those in one jump.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So we had Bob actually taking a death. Looked like he was out of Metal Blaze. He went, after taking a death, he went straight to the left and refilled on Metal Blaze. So he definitely now knows what weaknesses are. So he should be done in a few seconds. And there you go. That's our complete run of our second race of this showcase race. Our last restream runner finishing fourth in overall 7th place in just under 46 minutes. So GG's to everyone involved. I think it was a pretty good showcase, showing of how the Mega Man 2 randomizer can even trip up some of the more experienced players at times. Wouldn't you say, Bull and Squid?
Definitely.
Yeah. I haven't been at any of the showcase races, and I actually wasn't even planning on being in tonight, but since it coincided with our usual weeklies, and by the way, we do Mega Man 2 Rando weeklies on Sunday, I figured, hey, if SpeedGaming wanted to restream me and Bob, that'd be great. So we kind of just crashed the party.
And of course, we're glad to have y'all in. So this is pretty much going to be it for us, everyone. As usual, we usually showcase about 2 races per showcase. We showcased them, got ourselves a couple of good races, good runs out of all of our runners. Hopefully y'all got entertained. We thank all of our runners.
Around the clock to get you more Charmin. Stay safe.
Sounds like somebody's TV playing an ad or something in the background.
Mark, do you want to explain leaving at 32? Well, Gouda, do you want to explain why you grinded up to...
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Got a little bit of an interruption here.
Pause for a commercial break.
Oh, sweet mercy. But seriously, before we head on out, Squid, Siberian Bull, do you have any final before we cut out?
No. I think I said what I want to say. Join the Discords for both the tournament race and the randomizer, and join us for weeklies if you're interested. We've gotten a lot of new people over the past 6 months or so that have been interested, so I highly encourage it. We're always looking to expand the community. It's a lot of fun, so... Yeah.
Ditto on Squid, and for newer players, everyone that's in this community, the randomizer community, is very helpful. Is willing to help you learn the rando and learn new tricks along the way.
All right, so with that, I think we're just gonna go ahead and close it out. So once again, thanks to SpeedGaming for allowing us to showcase these races pre-tournament, and of course eventually gonna host the tournament in its fullest. Thanks to Charlie Boy for organizing the tournament. This is our 3rd tournament that he's organized and been a part of. Hopefully it'll be as good as the previous 2 ones. Shoutouts to Duckfist for creating the randomizer. Of course, if we didn't have the randomizer, we wouldn't be doing this to begin with. And of course, thanks to 2% Chungus for filling in at the last moment to help us with tracking work. Big ups to him for stepping up and actually showing some progress between our runners. And of course, Frico. What can I say about Frico?
I do the word things.
Yes, you do. So do I.
Frico, you know.
But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for us tonight. For Frico and for the rest of SpeedGaming, this is LV Creed. Stay tuned for our final showcase race, which is going to be Tuesday, June the 30th at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hopefully we get our European friends involved in that one. That's for our that's for a time frame that's more friendly for Europeans. So we hopefully will have a nice turnout from there. But yeah, for Frico and Speed Gaming, this is LV Cree. We're signing out, folks. Take care of yourselves and good night.